Hi, Cozy Adventurers. This week I am doing warm and womanly vanillas. Last week I was doing a lot of Pretty Princess perfumes, kind of Pretty Princess vanillic profile. And this week I'm getting into my vanillas that didn't quite fit a Pretty Princess because they felt more like a womanly goddess or queen. So today I started testing some Libre and actually Libre Intense and Schmoops for that, and Burberry Goddess and Schmoop for that, and a couple other things that I thought might be in the same olfactory family, but I'm not sure if it actually is. But I want to talk to you before they faded away. It's like almost 4 o'clock now, and I put them on probably at 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. So that gives us a whole 5.5 hours. Is that true? Yeah, a whole 5.5 hours almost that it's been on my skin. And I definitely still smell these somewhat, but they've become skin scents pretty much. So I'll start with Burberry Goddess and Engum by Lattafa. When I first spray them, and keep interrupting myself before I finish sentences. So Lattafa fragrances, I tend to smell a sort of petroleum oil or rubber tire smell. There's something in the background that I can smell in a lot of Lattafas, especially at the beginning, and then it kind of fades off as it ages. But Engum I've been having sit for a few months, and it was so very tiny slightly there where I could still kind of be like, oh, it's a Lattafa. I could kind of smell it, and it had sort of a tightness at first when I you know, when you have a sip of wine and it hasn't gotten to breathe yet. That's sort of what it smelled like to me. And I just have a little tester of it, so I'm not sure how well it's getting to mingle with oxygen. So I think I'm gonna like store it now with the top off just to like try to get it to the best aging place possible. And even with Burberry Goddess, when I first got it, I was like, wait, why do people keep talking about these like they're vanilla? Because it smelled so strongly ginger and lavender to me that I was not getting the vanilla, but today I did. So Burberry Goddess, we're talking about warm womanly perfumes this week. Burberry Goddess doesn't have any citrus listing, but to me the ginger is so bright in it that it almost lends a citrusy note in comparison to the vanilla in it, and it also has a little cocoa, which I don't smell until like the very end, and the lavender, which is a little bit formal to me, but it softens and gets more sweet and less distinct as the wear goes on. Yeah, I think I was testing it before with so many other things and I wasn't giving it a chance to really smell it through stages of dry down, and I think it has gotten to sit now for a while, so the vanilla is more vanilla-ing in it, and I really enjoyed it this time. Engum to me has a little bit more, like I said, tightness, like a wine that hasn't gotten any oxygen, and once it's on the skin for over an hour, it starts to soften more too and get more vanillic. To me, the ginger is very strong, almost to the point of feeling like a citrus to me in the beginning. But yeah, it gets softer and softer, and I see why people like Engum even more than Goddess sometimes, because it does have a stronger staying power. I have Goddess up on my shoulder and it's still a skin scent, and now it's to that point where I smell a little more of the cocoa and a little just softer, more powdery. vanilla with very faint ginger and lavender in the background. But the Angam stays stronger notes with the lavender and the ginger throughout, and it also sweetens up and has a real nice strong vanilla. It also at this point is a skin scent too, though, after 5.5 hours. But this became a skin, the original became a skin scent for me within a couple hours, I think, or I went anosmic to it somewhat. But the Angam stayed stronger, I think, for another like couple hours than the original. So that's my report on Goddess and Angam. And then I was also at the same time testing out Lieb Intense and some schmoops for that, and kind of comparing both sides, the Goddess and the Lieb. So for Lieb Intense, I also have original Lieb, YSL Lieb, and I have the limited edition vanilla. I have just a tester of it. I want a bottle so much, one of those beautiful golden bottles. Ugh. And not just because of the aesthetic, because of the smell too. But I decided to do the Lieb Intense for this first trial because that's in between the two, really. You can smell a lot more of the original Lieb DNA, but it is sweetened with a little more vanilla depth to it. So I have it's my knocking shit down part of the review. I have Lieb Intense, a decant of it, and then I also have Leonie. I got this schmoop off of Mercari from someone, and it's been sitting for a while, I would say like a couple months maybe now, but I didn't spray it out well, I don't think. So from what I've experienced today, I should have like sprayed it out a lot more and let it breathe some air and age, because there definitely was a difference between this and the other ones. And I did get Tharwa Gold from Lattafa as well, which had that tightness that I talked about with Angam, but more. This is a newer sample. It hasn't gotten to age as much. It hasn't gotten air in it as much, and I get more of this sort of in the background, a little bit of like petroleum oil tire, rubber tire smell in it, and it feels kind of tight. But over time it did like warm up to my skin. It smelled actually quite good compared to this one. This one had a weird sort of spicy thing going on that doesn't really have much to do with Lieb. That was happening if I sniffed close to my skin, but if I just smelled the air, it smelled more similar. But I think these are going to be revisited later. I'm going to let them sit some more and spray them out and see what can happen in the aging process with those. It was interesting with the two Lattafas, the Angam and the Tharwa Golds for the Lieb and the Goddess. I can tell why I paired them, because there is this similarity. It's like vanilla but grown up. I would say Angam and Burberry Goddess are definitely more obviously vanilla than my Lieb Intense. If I'm comparing them, like one on each arm, the Lieb Intense is much more, what is it, Orange Blossom? I think Orange Blossom kind of takes over in that. To me, the Orange Blossom and Lieb Intense is like the ginger in Goddess and Angam. But the ginger and Goddess and Angam, both of those, it quiets down a lot through the wear. And the Orange Blossom, let me check and make sure I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, Tunisian orange blossom, and it has mandarin orange and bergamot. So yeah, the oranginess the sort of fresh orange from the orange and the bergamot fade away, but the flowers, the orange flowers, the blossoms, to me that stays the dominant smell over the vanilla in the Lieb Intense. Once you get to the Lieb Vanille, or whatever it is, I can't remember what the whole name of that one is, the new one, the new flanker, then vanilla takes over, and we'll look at that one next time I see you. But what do I have to say? I guess between Leonie and Tharwa Gold right now, I recommend Tharwa Gold. I'll see what happens in the aging process. And then I tried a couple other ones. I tried Me Wish, that beautiful moon-shaped perfume that came out this year by Paris Corner, because that also has an orange blossom. Let me make sure I'm telling the truth about that too. That also has vanilla as its top main accord, and then it has orange blossom. But I definitely immediately, when I was comparing, I was like, oh, this is definitely totally different. It has pistachio, and that puts it more almost in the Cheirosa 62. Is that the Bum Bum Cream one? Let me check for that. Cheirosa 62. Yes. So yeah, Me Wish is almost like if Cheirosa 62 and Lieb had a baby to me, because I don't feel like Cheirosa has an orange blossom as much. So a mix of those two. And the last one I tried today on my testing arms for my Warm Womanly Vanillas was a dupe or inspired by Gold Sugar, which I think is the Gold Sugar by Aquilina. I haven't smelled that, but if it smells like this, I probably like it, because it also has vanilla and orange blossom in the top. So this one, it doesn't smell like a schmoop of Lieb, but it has a little bit of Lieb feeling to it. It does not have the lavender. Lieb has lavender too, right? I'm trying too many things at once. Yeah, Lieb has the lavender too. So it might smell a lot like Rare Beauty. That'd be an interesting one to get like the bottle of and try the Gold Sugar, like the pink sugar, but it's a Gold Sugar version. That this one is schmooping for some reason. I think that's a affordable enough vanilla, but maybe it's not available anymore, and that's why. It also has some lactonic elements that these other ones don't do, and some coconut. So it's definitely its own smell, but I included it in because of this orange blossomy Lieb profile that I'm checking out. And I would say my winners for today are going to be Goddess and Angum. Like, I really started to understand the vanillas that those become and really enjoyed them. I also put a little Rare Beauty on me because that is also compared a lot to Burberry Goddess, but it doesn't have the lavender. And that one, I don't know if I put more on or if it just has a stronger kind of ginger note, or because it doesn't have the lavender, maybe the ginger smells like, feels like it's stronger in it, but it also had a stronger vanilla from the beginning, and just sort of a sweeter end result. That one I put in my Pretty Princess vanillas, and then Goddess is a little more grown up, and Angum is a little bit more grown up than Goddess. Angum is like Goddess in the office. There's just something like a little bit more formal feeling to it. But they're all beautiful and cozy. And Lieb, I think that I like the original DNA and the Lieb Intense, but I really prefer the one that I'll be talking about later, which is the new flanker with a lot more vanilla in it and some rum. Hi, Cozy Adventurers. So we're continuing on today with my warm womanly vanillas. Last week we were doing Pretty Princess perfumes because it was my birthday and I was doing a whole series on birthday princess layering and perfume and shower routine and all of that. So if you want to see some Pretty Princess birthday cake smelling yummy things, look at my clips from last week. This week I'm doing the ones that I didn't include with those because they have this more adult womanly vibe to them. And I have 3 on today that are really well known that I can compare for you because I have all 3 of them on. I have Burberry Goddess on this hand and wrist. I have the new Lieb Vanilla Couture or Vanille Couture by YSL on this hand and wrist, and I have the Mont Guerlain perfume on my chest and my shoulders. And all 3 of them have some lavender in the vanilla and just feel a little bit more put together, a little bit more grown up. Probably 30 plus would be attracted to this perfume. It does have a little bit more perfumey department store. So even though there's really yummy vanilla in all 3 of these, it's not so edible. It's not quite gourmand. Even though it's very yummy and cozy smells, it smells a little bit more perfumey, if that makes sense. So, pardon my sniffles all the time. I have chronic illness and I'm always sniffling. The Lieb Vanille Couture. I was testing the various kinds of Lieb yesterday, and this one definitely is the most vanillic. It still has a very strong orange blossom to it, and then it has that boozy rum, and the lavender is really well blended. The lavender and orange flower are really well blended with the vanilla, so it kind of smells like all one smell. You're not smelling different notes here and there. But it's a very orange blossomy vanilla. Goddess starts out with a very bright ginger with the lavender and vanilla, and it feels similar to me, the orange blossom on this side and the ginger on this side in the beginning, as far as how much brightness is brought to the perfume. But the ginger and the lavender fade a lot in Goddess, and it becomes much more vanilla centric in the dry down. The Mont Guerlain, in comparison to Goddess and Burberry Goddess and YSL Lieb Vanille Couture. The Mont Guerlain I have, by the way, is a Mont Guerlain Intense EDP. So it has Guerlain is really known for their vanillas apparently, and it's a very depthful, to me that it's like the epitome of warm womanly vanilla. Like this a little bit older woman who, it's cozy, but it's not cozy like sweatpants cozy. It's cozy like a beautiful cashmere sweater and some beautiful wool slacks and yeah, it's cozy in a beautiful put together kind of way. Yeah, so Mont Guerlain. There's something that I could see some people being overwhelmed. There's something heavy about Guerlain vanilla that I feel, and the lavender is really definitely the other thing that I smell the most in it. And compared to the other one, but compared to Goddess, where the lavender and the ginger kind of fade into the background, Mont Guerlain, the lavender really stays for a long time, pretty strong. Although in the deep dry down, it usually ends up more of the lavender going in the background too and just being the vanilla. So I would say the Goddess vanilla is the most, I don't know, it has like this warm, sweet, again, like cashmere sweater vibe to it too, or a, not even cashmere sweater. I feel like that one is, the woman is wearing like a silk dress with different layers, and it's long, flowy, goddessy silk dress, or like a caftan, but not like some cheap caftan you got for your vacation, but like something that like someone very rich, kind of caftan, goddessy, flowing thing would wear. That's what the vanilla smells like in that. Mon Guerlain feels like that cashmere sweater, and the Liebe smells like someone maybe in the office with the cashmere sweater. So it's someone still presenting this very feminine, soft but sexy way, in a womanly and warm, but with a little bit even more like presentational, adults out in the world vibe to it. I really love all three of these that I'm testing today. The YSL Liebe Vanilla Couture, Vanille Couture, and the Goddess, Burberry Goddess, and the Mon Guerlain Intense. I feel like each deserves its own day because I'm sort of creating chaos with having all three on at the same time. I think if I just had, I think 2 at a time on my body is probably the most, without like kind of overwhelming myself and probably anyone else around me. But yeah, I feel like they all deserve like a whole day just wearing it to like fully get to know them. But I think this is enough just to introduce you. They're all these like grown woman, sexy, cozy, but also professional, or like holding their own sort of leadership. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, they have this like older kind of perfumey smell to them that is put together and makes me think of more out in the world. But they're also, especially Goddess and Mon Guerlain, they both like feel like they could be inside, but they'd be inside not in your jammies, but in some sort of beautiful, could have people over, host people, could it just be like with your lover and you're just not in pajamas, you're in like beautiful, comfortable, expensive clothes. And Liebe could be that too. There's just something that a little bit feels more like out and about to me, like you'd be going out different places, whether it's work or somewhere beautiful for drinks and dinner, or somewhere social to mingle with some different people and give off a beautiful, classy vibe, but still be sweet and warm. That's what I get from these. Like I see them on, like right now, spending time with the YSL Liebe Vanille Couture. But really all three of these that I'm testing today, there's something that I could totally see being the Upper East Side in Manhattan, or Upper West Side, or Midtown Manhattan, the sort of sexier, more soft, womanly version of the women of that area who are out and about and doing different things and presenting themselves with like a lot of sense of boss bitch energy and yeah, just fully in their elegant elder woman vibe, but their version of a gourmand, like their version of a beautiful, sweet vanilla with these extra expensive smelling flourishes. Hi Cozy Adventures. So I'm continuing on today with some more cozy, warm and womanly vanillas. I did the princessy vanillas last week, and this week it's more of these more depthful what I call womanly, which usually means there's a little bit more heaviness and depth to it than the ones that I find more princessy. I mean, some of the princess ones have depth, but they all have a certain kind of lightness or airiness or a more straightforward, not as depthfulness going on, or a playfulness. And these have usually a more creamy or woodsy or perfumey sensibility. So today I put La Vie Belle Nude, which I got this tiny little dabber of. It's so pretty with its little scarf. And I had tried this in store. I tried it on paper, which at first on paper it just felt like such this sort of light ethereal vanilla that I really loved. And then I tried it on skin and I was like, wait, this is really milky, and not a light kind of milk like I have in Bianco Latte, but a weighty milk, a heavier, like full fat or cream milk in it. And it doesn't even list milk in its notes. It just says a creamy musk, but on my skin it is super milky. And then today is the first time I had it on skin all day. It's been on for 5.5 hours, and it was even more noticeably kind of a heavy milky smell. And also it has these solar notes, and maybe it's a solar jasmine. And I noticed this in some other sort of department store brand, older, kind of more old-fashioned perfumes. There's this bright jasmine that feels like kind of acidic to my nasal passages. So it has some of that. And there's still the ghost of that left after 5.5 hours. But it's mostly mellowed out to a light creamy vanilla with these other notes in the background. And I think it also does have the DNA of the original La Vie Belle in the background of it, which has patchouli and some fruity notes and various things. So I think some of that is also like kind of way in the background of this. So yeah, it's very different than how it smelled on paper for me. So on the one hand, I was doing La Vie Belle Nude, Vanille Nude, to test for warm womanly vanilla week. And on my other hand, I am doing another Guerlain. It's the Spiritueuse Double Vanille. And this one from the beginning had a more directly vanilla, as far as compared to the La Vie Belle Vanille Nude, which was vanilla from the beginning, but for my nose and on my skin, I smelled more milk, like a sweet milk and a bright jasmine. And this one, vanilla was the dominant, that Guerlain, that signature warm, heavy Guerlain vanilla, kind of thick vanilla, but still perfumey, like not quite edible smelling. Kind of hard to describe, but I think it's very specific for the kind of vanilla that they do. But I could smell some like woods and stuff from the beginning. I think also the ylang ylang. There's something about ylang ylang that smells kind of hay-like to me, or woodsy, and I could feel like that was sort of like poking out from the vanilla. So it's not like smoothly one smell, but the overriding smell is vanilla. And it also has incense, but it's not an overwhelming incense. It's not a smoky incense. It's just something that's giving it some sort of extra depth, like a veil of extra depth to it. And now it's still there, but it's definitely a skin scent and more of a sort of subtle, warm vanilla smell. If you're not smelling really closely, it probably just smells like a vanilla extract or bourbony vanilla at this point. I think the other notes have mostly faded. So I did those two, and then I did a little bit of Rare Beauty because I was doing Goddess the other week, and this one doesn't have lavender, so I thought I would compare it to other ones. And this one actually smelled a little like I could smell the citrus and ginger on it, or maybe it doesn't even have citrus note. It might say it's not, there's no citrus note, but there is, or it's just that the ginger is a bright one. So it also started out bright. So when I first put all of these on, I was like, whoa, there's like this bright smell from the solar jasmine and bright smell from the ginger. That was kind of overwhelming, but they've all faded down now to softer, sweeter vanillas. And then while I was testing the Guerlain doubles, the Spirituous Vanille, or whatever it is called, Spirituous Double Vanille, and the La Vie Belle Vanille Nude, I started adding some other things that I was like, oh, I should test these ones too, because they're sort of might be in adjacent families. So I put on some Lattafa Nebris Elixir. I didn't include this one in my Princess vanillas because it does have a little bit thicker milk smell to me. It's a milk candy vanilla, so it's not very heavy, but it has a little bit less of the sort of light princessy smell I was going for, and a more, I think this one is very like straightforwardly gourmand. And I put it on my arm that down here had the La Vie Belle on it, Vanille Nude, and because they're both lactonic to me. And the La Vie Belle is just such a heavier lactonic smell to me on my skin. And I looked at reviews, and it sounds like some people really don't get the lactonic smell, like they get a little bit of a creaminess in the musk, but they mostly get a more powdery smell, but I really don't get that. I mean, I can imagine a powdery smell, but really it's so lactonic on my skin. So in a way, the Nebris was less lactonic because it had this lighter, because it's a milk candy rather than like a thick, weighty, full fat kind of milk that I smell in the La Vie Belle. So those are those two. And then I added Vanifolia by Hekayat Attar. And that's a dupe for another Guerlain fragrance that's very much in the fragrance community's news right now, because there's a new dupe for it called, I think, Vanilla Aura or something like that. And this dupe is said to be actually even more like the original because it doesn't start with such different notes as the Aura one, but it's lighter. The texture of it is a lot lighter. It doesn't have that signature Guerlain heaviness. So yeah, the dupe that I have for the Guerlain Planifolia is the Hekayat Attar Vanifolia, like vanilla folia. And it does have, I haven't smelled the original because it's like a bajillion dollars, but from what I've heard, it's a depthful spicy vanilla that almost has, it's one of those that almost has a Dr. Pepper cola root beer-ish element, which I smell that actually very subtly, that I smell that sort of the soda-ness of it. The soda, if it's flavored by different barks and resins and spices like those sodas are originally, it makes sense that, plus vanilla, it makes sense that a lot of perfumes would end up having a little bit of that profile going on. But yeah, this one, if it has that profile, it's not taking over. It's definitely still a vanilla to my nose and on my skin. And the last one that I stuck on my skin today was Victoria's Secret Bare Suede Vanilla, because I was looking up some stuff about the Olivia Bell nude, and someone mentioned Bare Suede Vanilla as something that reminded them. And I see that. There's something similar to the kind of vanilla it is, and then something that kind of gets my nasal passages. And I don't know what it is because I don't think it's listed in the notes of it for me to be able to tell you what it is. Oh, I think it's maybe just the milk. It has milk. It actually lists milk as one of its main notes. The top note is saffron, and that definitely differs and gives a different kind of warmth to it that I like. But yeah, I think the certain kind of milky, like acidic milky smell that I smell in Olivia Bell Nude, I smell very similarly in the Bare Suede Vanilla by Victoria's Secret. And I've noticed also in people's reviews, a lot of people that love one love the other too this year with those two releases. I think there's something about the acidic, like tonic note that I'm getting in both of them on my skin that is a little bit iffy, but I want to do more tries of them just on their own without all these comparisons to other things on my body to see how they do on me. But they still are warm womanly vanillas. Hi Cozy Adventures. So I'm doing my warm womanly vanillas week, and I got an order in today that I had made during the $5.95 sale at Bath & Body Works, and I just feel like I'm itching to try them. And they're actually related to the perfumes that I was doing this week, because a couple of them people say reminds them of Liebe or Liebe Intense. And then I also have one that's supposed to be a vanilla lavender, which also fits in with these. And I have Vanilla Ease, which is, I think, also a vanilla lavender perfume. I got the perfume of them instead of the body spray, which I don't know if that was a good idea or not. I think I was thinking space saving because I live in a small space, a little apartment, and yeah, I'm just feeling antsy to smell them. So this isn't the best first try because I still have like the ghosts of other vanilla perfumes I was trying today. If I sniff really deeply, they're still there. I think this one is Spirituous, however you say that, Vanilla Guerlain. I think the side has faded more. Anyway, I'm starting with this one that says Sleep Lavender and Vanilla Essential Oil Perfume Mist. I think I thought it was just essential oil, but I think it's in perfume. So I was expecting it to really just smell like lavender and vanilla, and it does not. And I should just use my lavender and vanilla essential oils if that's what I want. But I want like a spray perfume of that smell. And actually what this smells like to me is baby powder. Like baby butts. Clean baby butts. So I don't love it, but my boyfriend loves baby powder smells, so maybe that layered with some like really vanilla would be good for him and for me, because by itself I don't really like it. Yeah, too kind of clean and powdery baby powder smell for me. Let's try the Vanilla Ease. I remember, oh, it has a thing on it. I remember that I really liked this one in the spray. Oh no, this is the spray nozzle. Oops. I remember I liked this one in the body spray at the store. I might have broken off the top. Okay, let's try it. Okay, that's good. That one's good. That one is lavender vanilla perfume heaven. Yeah, so continuing with my little haul from Bath and Body Works, I tried the lavender and vanilla sleep fragrance, which smells like clean baby butt baby powder to me. It doesn't really smell like lavender and vanilla unless it's like a sort of powdered floral soapy baby butt way. Not the way that I'm used to having for like perfumes or essential oils. And then I tried the Vanilla Ease, which I really like. It's a vanilla lavender too, but this one is much sweeter, perfumier, vanilla-er. The lavender is a sweet lavender. And even though I'm testing it out in my warm womanly vanillas week, I actually would have included this in my Pretty Princess vanillas because it doesn't have like a deep kind of heavier or depthful vanilla. It has a lighter sweet soft vanilla and lavender that feels pretty to me in that way. Soft and pretty. Not that warm womanly people aren't soft and pretty, but there's the depth that I'm looking for warm womanly. So next I'm going to try Touch of Gold, which I'm not sure what I tried there, if it was Free as a Flower or Touch of Gold, that I was like, oh, that's Liebe Intense, because I know people say both have that element to it. A Liebe Intense inspired. Yeah. Yeah, I'll have to compare it more directly, but it's definitely more sweet. And I remember the notes have berries in it, and I'm usually really overwhelmed by berry and can't smell other things, but this berry is not one of those Bath and Body Works typical berries. It's darker and it's blended lightly and deeply kind of in with the orange flower and vanilla. I feel like that's a good warm womanly vanilla option that has a little bit of a Liebe vibe. Now I want to try Free as a Flower, which is the one I think everyone agrees is a Liebe inspired fragrance. If I can open it. Oh, this one is much more orangey. Upon like immediate after the spray, it has like some fresh orange in it. I don't know what the notes say, but it's definitely not just an orange blossom or orange flower. It has some actual like citrus orange, like an orange juice smell to me, at least in the initial top note spray. That's so strong that I think I'll need it to die down to be able to see what I think. I mean, I can definitely see how both of them give a little bit of a Liebe vibe, but neither of them smells totally like Liebe. I think it was actually the Touch of Gold that I smelled in the store, and that I was like, oh, that's the one that's Liebe. Because it's so much sweeter, I would say that it's probably the closest to the newest Liebe, because it's got a sweeter, richer vanilla. And Free as a Flower is most like the original Liebe because it doesn't have as much vanilla. like I wouldn't smell it so much and think this is a vanilla perfume, or at least not yet. Maybe in dry down it will, probably. So who knows. And then lastly, I got Infinite Radiance, which people also say that Touch of Gold reminds them of, so I just got curious. And it also, from the notes and some of the people's reviews that I saw, seems like it has a little bit of like vintage perfumey essence. Okay, I can't tell from the cap. Trying to find somewhere where I don't have anything any scent already. Huh. I'll have to look at the notes. I don't remember why people said that it reminded them of Touch of Gold. On my hand, I almost get a Baccarat-y vibe. That one's intriguing. I might really like it, but it might also be blending with like everything else that I have on my arm. So I'll revisit these, but I just wanted to give you my first impression. Cozy Adventures, I just wanted to revisit my Bath & Body Works perfume haul from yesterday. And keeping with the warm womanly vanilla perfumes that we're exploring this week. The dry downs smell different than the initial spray for a lot of them, so I just wanted to update you. Vanilla Ease didn't change that much. It stayed this beautiful princessly vanilla lavender that feels, the princessliness is the sort of airiness of it that I get. I really like this one. This is one of my 2 favorite ones that I got. Vanilla Ease. And so I wouldn't quite include that in the warm womanly vanilla category. It feels more in the princess category. The Sleep Lavender plus Vanilla that smelled like baby powder to me when I first sprayed it, and not like perfume baby powder, but like actual like baby butt, baby lotion baby powder. I really didn't smell lavender or vanilla in particular on it when I first sprayed it. Once it dried down, it sweetened up quite a bit and I could smell the vanilla and the lavender, but it did fade away soon after that too. So it has definitely a lot less staying power. But if you like baby powder smell, then you might actually really enjoy the opening of it, and it takes a while to get to the dry down, so you get some solid time, at least over an hour, with that baby powder smell. And the staying power for this one, I think, was like at least several hours, so it was good. Then I couldn't remember whether the one I tried in the store that reminded me of Lieb was Touch of Gold or Free as a Flower. And when I first sprayed them, Touch of Gold smelled more like it than Free as a Flower to me, because Free as a Flower smelled like fresh orange to me, fresh orange juice, which I hadn't remembered smelling in the store, but it might just be different on my skin than on the paper. And Touch of Gold, I've smelled more of the orange blossom right away, but in dry down, it's definitely, Free as a Flower is definitely the one that's more like Lieb, but it takes a long time. I have some on my shoulders today. It takes kind of a long time to get to dry down. And so it has a couple hours where it's got more of a juicy orange at the top, but it dries down in a sweeter orange blossomy way that is Lieb-esque, but not really dupe of it, I would say. The Touch of Gold is really interesting because sometimes I can smell the Lieb-like smell from it, and then sometimes it leans more toward the other perfume I got, which is the Infinite Radiance, which is a dupe for, or inspired by, for Volea, I believe by Perfumes de Marly. And this one, it's really interesting seeing other people talk about it as something really light. To me, it has a density to it that I also get from the touch of gold eventually in the dry down, or especially if you spray more than one spray in one area, like if you kind of overspray the touch of gold, you might get this. It ends up smelling a lot more like Infinite Radiance to me. And the way that it smells like it is a kind of vaguely spicy ambery wood smell or something that comes up in it, that sort of takes over from the sweetness of the orange blossom and the tonka, which is like what I was more wanting to smell in it. I also smelled more of the fruitiness of it when I first sprayed it, the touch of gold. And Infinite Radiance, once I knew what it was a dupe for and I let it fully dry down, I was like, oh, I do smell that like sort of peach skin smell. And I think that my skin might actually naturally have a sort of sweet, slightly peachy smell. So it smells almost like body odor, but not dirty body odor, just like normal skin body odor of a woman. But maybe that's part of what people really like. I haven't smelled the original, but yeah, was really surprised because it doesn't show the notes that they share for Infinite Radiance don't at all match Volea, so I wasn't expecting that, the smells that I got from this one. And yeah, I think just because of like what my chemistry smells like, to me it doesn't smell so fresh and clean as people describe. It smells more like lived in skin with like a slight sweatiness, but a clean sweatiness. So, and that's not in the warm womanly vanilla category at all, but just to tell you, give you updates on all of these Bath and Body Works perfumes that I got. Hi Cozy Adventures. So I want to give my warm and womanly vanilla awards to two Guerlain fragrances that I tried this week. One is Mon Guerlain Intense EDP, and the other is Guerlain Spiritueuse Double Vanille. Both of them are this rich Guerlain vanilla that's not quite gourmand. It doesn't quite feel edible, but it's has a enveloping, thick, seductive, without being like super sexual, if that makes sense, vanilla that I guess is the signature Guerlain vanilla that's very specific to it. And I think it is like the epitome of warm and womanly vanilla. It has both this sort of mature, classy feel and this cozy, again, like enveloping, delicious vanilla to it. The Mon Guerlain Intense starts with a very strong lavender. So if you're not a lavender fan, go for the Spiritueuse. I wish I knew how to say that word. Double Vanille. They're both expensive though, and so I am actually going to buy a little bottle of the regular Mon Guerlain to have in my collection, and some sort of Mon Guerlain vanilla that I can afford. The small bottle of Mon Guerlain you can get for like a little bit over $40 online. So it like makes me kind of blush and get a certain smile on my face when I smell these. They also have a good wear time, like they stay on your skin all day, they project. A lot of the perfumes I try with like one spray, I can't smell at a distance, but these I can. They also feel like warm on the skin. So I really recommend them. And then while we're here, I wanted to give you a little bonus for my warm and womanly recommendation. Hi, Cozy Adventures. So my bonus warm and womanly vanilla layering duo or trio that I discovered that I want to share is Sol de Janeiro 59 and Sticky Dates. And I came across this accidentally because I happened to get these to, like, they came in a package together that I'd ordered, and I tried both of them on my hand, and then once they warmed up and mingled, it was such a good smell. And I topped with the body spray, and it was so good. And I had already put Double Dates, the new Skylar perfume that's similar to Sticky Dates, on my Pretty Princess or Pillow Princess sexy perfumes list, and I'd put the Sol de Janeiro 59 on my Pretty Princess fragrance list. But together they create this depth of both this candied floral violet and vanilla and this sticky darker date yumminess, and create this warm womanly vibe that is like addictive to me. Yeah, like I get this like glazed look in my eyes when I smell it. So the Guerlain vanillas are still my like ultimate warm womanly vanilla, and I still have them on my hands, and I still have the same intoxicated look on my face with those too. But for something that is more affordable and accessible, and a lot of people already have it, layering this stuff is delicious, cozy, warm, intoxicating, womanly, yummy, everything.